Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm actually going to be providing you some coverage on some newly revealed Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise figures that have literally just been revealed courtesy of IGN. New York Toy Fair 2020 is just around the corner with only 2 days to go until we get some brand new reveals for both Earthrise and the Studio Series, and IGN are giving us our first look at what we can expect to see at this weekend's Toy Fair by unveiling some brand new Transformers Earthrise figures. Now, most of the figures that I'm going to be briefly covering in this video have already been rumoured for quite a while, so most of them will probably not come as a shock to you. However, I'm not going to be discussing all that was revealed over at IGN, as I'm going to save some of my thoughts for when we actually get in-hand images taken at the Toy Fair this weekend. So I'll merely just be going over some of my standouts from some of the newly announced figures and giving you some of my initial thoughts and feelings on some of these official images. The first figure that I'll be taking a look at is the Transformers Deluxe Class Earthrise Arcee, a figure that has been rumoured for some time now. However, this is our first time getting a good glimpse and look at this new Arcee figure, and I've got to say that it definitely looks up there with some of the other Earthrise and Siege releases. This is obviously a fantastic rendition of how Arcee appeared in the G1 cartoon. However, of course, it's been given an updated and modernised aesthetic to go along with some of your newly released figures. We can see here that Arcee does, of course, sport her pink and white colour motif with some really vibrant blue eyes. I do believe that could even be light piping. That would be fantastic to see. Judging by her blaster, it looks as if though it would be an incredibly pale white or even a transparent clear piece of plastic with a blue tint to it, so that will be quite an interesting look. She does, of course, have her backpack, which is, of course, synonymous with Arcee figures, but we can also see that the figure will, in fact, be able to detach part of her backpack to use as a glider. Now, this is once again another case of parts forming within the Earthrise Deluxe Class assortment. We first saw this type of parts forming with the Deluxe Cliff Jumper, and seeing as that figure was fairly small, I did decide to let that one slip. But with Arcee, it does appear to me that they are just going with the trend of literally just removing the back kibble, which I don't necessarily think is a good move on Hasbro's part, as quite frankly, Transformers are supposed to transform with their pieces intact from either mode. So I really do hope that this isn't a piece that you have to detach in order to transform her from vehicle mode to robot and vice versa, and it is merely just a piece that you can detach if you so choose to. But we can see here that it is the back section of her vehicle mode. You can see the 2 seats, and this is being dubbed as her hoverboard, which I guess is quite a fun inclusion and will definitely allow for some different posability options. But taking an actual look at the figure herself, I'm definitely very happy with what we can see here. It does appear that she will be incredibly articulated, and I can even see that she will in fact have a waist rotation joint, something which was absent on the Transformers Generations Arcee that was released a couple of years ago as part of the IDW comic wave. Here we have an image of Arcee in her vehicle mode. Now, as this is being released as part of the Earthrise toy line, I would have hoped that it would have had more of an Earth-like type of vibe. This to me still does appear very Cybertronian in its design, whilst accurate to Arcee's appearance in G1. If they are really to be on Earth, then this shouldn't necessarily be the vehicle mode that she obtains. It does still look very alien and futuristic. However, I've got to say that in terms of a Generation 1 inspired Arcee, this is a fantastic looking vehicle mode with that same pink and white colour motif that we saw within the robot mode. It definitely does look incredibly sleek, and we've even got some nice detailing such as the Autobot insignia, as well as a transparent clear piece of blue plastic for the front windscreen. So definitely a really awesome looking vehicle mode. I cannot wait to get some more in-hand images of this to really see what it looks like in person. But first impressions on this Deluxe Class Arcee are definitely 100% positive, and she's one of my most anticipated deluxes from Earthrise at the moment. Next up, here we have our first look at the Transformers Earthrise Commander Class Skylynx. Definitely a figure that was in need of a drastic update after the previous version we got of Skylynx, I believe, was a Voyager class, which is of course too small for what Skylynx really should be. Here, Hasbro are finally giving us an accurate scaling and putting him in the Commander class scale, so it's great to see the Commander class line really living beyond Siege and making its way over to Earthrise. The last figure we got within this line was Jetfire, and he is one of my favourite Siege figures to date, so I really do hope that Skylynx follows that trend. we can see here that he is absolutely massive. Now, obviously, we don't have anything in terms of scale reference, but Commander class is already bigger than a Leader class and is in between a Titans class, so this figure is definitely going to be incredibly large, and it's already stated that this figure can in fact split into multiple components. Here we obviously have him in his combined form with both the lynx and the bird-like creature combined, so this looks really cool. We can see details such as the tongue within the mouth, which I think looks really nice, loads of different joints in the neck, which I do hope allows for a great range of posability, and we also appear to have a great looking wingspan with also some great articulation on there as well. So definitely looking forward to this release of Skylynx. And here we have him here in his Lynx mode, looking really awesome. We can see here that he does have a fantastic looking head sculpt. I really do like the transparent clear blue plastic that Hasbro appeared to be using on some of these Earthrise figures, as well as the colour scheme on this looks great as well, with the red, white and blue. Really nice looking figure, and it'll be really interesting to see how the transformation on this one does in fact play out. And here we have an image of the other component, that being the bird, which I think looks quite cool as well. We can see that it does in fact have its own distinctive feet, obviously, for this mode. And the image that I showcased at the beginning was, of course, the lynx and this bird fully combined in order to create Skylynx. The final image I'll be taking a look at is, of course, Skylynx in his vehicle alt form, I guess you could call this. This is obviously the shuttle mode with the actual deployed base at the bottom. The actual base itself appears to be made out of the lynx creature, and obviously the bird transforms into the shuttle. A really nice attention to detail on this piece as well. This definitely looks as if though it's going to be one of the strongest Earthrise figures to date. So let's really hope that it can champion Jetfire in being one of the best generation figures released in a very long time from Hasbro. I really do like what I'm seeing with this one, and so far, out of all of the Earthrise reveals so far for this weekend's New York Toy Fair, Skylynx definitely takes the cake of being my favourite pick out of them all so far. And then the final figure that I'll be taking a look at in this video is, of course, the mighty Titan class Scorponok. This figure was hinted way back last year in October after being rumoured for a significant amount of time, and finally we get concrete official confirmation that we are in fact getting a Titan class Scorponok, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Now, in the first couple of leaked images we got leaked a few weeks ago, I did believe this figure was potentially going to be a remold of just Omega Supreme, much like what they did with Metroplex and Fortress Maximus. However, it does appear here that Scorponok could in fact be an entirely new mold, and I think he looks absolutely fantastic. The green and purple colour motif is definitely present and bold. I really love the head sculpt as well as the two tank turrets on either side of Scorponok's shoulders. I really like the three-fingered claws as well that he has for hands, so definitely a fantastic looking figure, and he'll definitely be one to go on the shelf alongside some of your other Titan class figures. And taking a look at his alt form, as you can see here, he does in fact transform into, you guessed it, a scorpion. We can see here that he does use those three-fingered like claws as the main claws for this mode. I really love the head sculpt that they've got here as well as the positioning that those two tank turrets do take place within this mode as well. We can see here at the back that he does in fact have the scorpion pincer, which has been decked out in a nice orange looking paint deco, and we can also pick out some scorpion legs on either side of this figure as well. So definitely a very huge and fantastic looking figure, and it'll be really interesting to get some more in-hand and up-close images of this figure at this weekend's New York Toy Fair. And then here we have the final image for Scorponok. I do believe that this is a base mode that you can deploy for him, so he will in fact transform into 3 different modes, which is fantastic to see, and is definitely great for display options. Here we can really get a sense of how huge this figure is going to be, and it will definitely keep in line with some of the previous Titan class figures. We can see Cliffjumper on, I believe, which is one of his legs, and Cliffjumper looks absolutely tiny, and we can see Hoist and Wheeljack at the back there as well. So definitely a huge figure, and I really cannot wait to pick this one up and add it to the collection as well. So there you have my first initial thoughts at some of the newly shown Transformers Earthrise figures. As stated previously, I will be doing coverage when we get up close and in-person images of all of these figures over at New York Toy Fair this weekend, so definitely stick around to the channel. I'll of course be covering the latest Studio Series reveals as well, so also be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for those videos. There were more figures announced over at IGN, however these were the 3 that stood out to me the most, and I want to keep some of my thoughts for some of the other figures when we get in-person images over the weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely be sure to let me know what you think of these newest Earthrise reveals down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.